And thanks for joining me. For my guest this morning, I have Emmanuel Chamantingeja. He's a member of parliament for Ayawaso West Wagon constituency here in Accra. And we know that your flag bearer is undertaking a number of tours of the region. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And the last time he went to Adenta, today we'll be going to Ningo.
Indeed, you must mention that he was in my constituency.
Yes, he was in your constituency as well. He was in your constituency 3 days ago, I believe.
Yes, on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday. All right. So far, how would you say the campaigning has been like for him, especially since he started this round of tour in the Greater Accra region?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me.
Thank you also
and,
for
let me use this opportunity to say a good morning to viewers and listeners. I hear that it streams.
Yes.
Most especially, let me say a good morning to my constituents that watch me. I'm grateful to you for the confidence you keep reposing in me. Like we say back there, at the whole plane this time.
That's your slogan for
your
campaign.
It's obvious. It's obvious. the choices are obvious.
Okay.
Well, I may not be able to say too much about the generality of the campaign everywhere because I've not followed him everywhere he has been to in this region. But what I hear, and I had opportunity to ask him, and he was definite that what he is seeing, particularly in the north, and is it the east, the central or western region, it is obvious that this election is in the bag. I can say for my constituency that we are going to see improved numbers. We are going to see improved figures for both myself and the flag bearer, and I believe that if all of it is aggregated, then
you're heading for victory.
Then we are headed for.
But ultimately, it's because the economy is not doing well, and we know that's been a theme for your campaign so far.
But you see, so let us go back to first principles. Why are governments elected? The only reason why we have government and we are not thrown back in the days pre-democracy, where each man for himself and every man was a government of his own, is that we will repose the mandate in government so that government will take care of us. The measure of taking care of us is a well-being. How well are the people doing? Are their lives getting better? Can they pay their electricity bill? Can they pay their water bill? How is it with their children when they are going to school? Can they pay their rent? Do they have electricity? Do they have water? If there's a hospital, is it accessible? You see, when you ask anybody, access is not only a geographical access, there is also a financial component to it. So you have built the Rich Hospital. You built a 400-bed hospital for $250 million. In the meantime, you built a 650 bed hospital, a quaternary, a fourth level hospital for 216. You built a 400-bed regional hospital for more than that. But that is besides the point. And then you build the hospital. Roland, the hospital is not a thoroughfare. It's not a place you just go in and come out with
you need
nothing.
certain ingredients.
You need a lot of ingredients
to access the services.
And that ingredient is the access. And the word is access. The access is money.
So you're saying the access means many things?
Yes, it is not just putting up the hospital.
Or creating the road to the hospital.
It is not even creating the road to the hospital. The man cannot. The people in Sisiama, they tell me every day, you know, my holy village, the people in Tibuaso, in Sisiama, in the upper, they say that now it is impossible for them to come to Dome. So it is not that simple. I say that the index of you looking after us is, am I able to live a life Am I able to feed my family 3 times a day? Am I able to pay my children's school fees? Am I able to access the things that I need to do? Those are the things that constitute the well-being of people.
Well, I do get your point, but if you look at what figures that the various agencies tend to come out with, the National Health Insurance,
yes,
from the Ministry of Health, and even the reports in the recently launched NDC manifesto,
yes,
access to healthcare, and especially access of the National Health Insurance scheme seem to have increased astronomically. That's the day-to-day OPD access. That also shows that a lot more people are accessing the scheme. They have opportunity to go to the hospital and use the card to access the services.
I don't like to be personal. I don't like to be personal, but forgive me for being personal. My driver's daughter was ill a couple of weeks ago.
Truthfully? Oh, this scenario?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
He's just downstairs. You can ask him.
Okay.
He took the National Health Insurance card of the daughter to the hospital.
Which hospital?
Oh, somewhere in Ashoma.
A public hospital?
No, a private hospital. Recorded. The only thing that was provided was ORS. At the end of the day, it cost him. I don't sit on radio and say this. I don't sit on
TV too.
So so there is a record that he came with the National Health Insurance. I am saying, and let them come and tell me it is not true. I am saying that in my constituency, the referral hospital for that area is the Legon Hospital. Let them come and tell me it is not true. They don't accept the National Health Insurance.
The Legon Hospital doesn't accept the National Health Insurance.
They don't. You see, so for me, it is a travesty to sit and say that so I have built a quaternary hospital in the same vicinity. The people in Mpasem, the people in Baoleshi, the people in Abuchiman, the people in Shashi are saying that they can't even go to Legon Hospital.
But let me ask you this.
A district hospital, a secondary hospital.
I do get your argument.
So what is the big fuss about a quaternary hospital?
I do get your argument. To the point that even the NDC and the President in his manifesto has even indicated that through what the modalities and the assessment has been, the National Health Insurance Scheme, for example, which is the main funding for health in our country, would need to be getting a lot more access to funds. Just because access has increased, doesn't that speak a lot?
No.
Doesn't speak a lot.
No. But I say people are still paying out of pocket.
Well, we do. Those will be the case scenarios. But
compared
to when the scheme started, we have a lot more people who are now accessing health using National Health Insurance scheme.
When school started in this country,
yes, please.
There were not that many pupils in Legon. When Legon started, there was one person to one room. So today there are 4 people in one room. Does it change anything?
Okay. So precisely that very scenario you're stating.
Yeah.
Is that not the reason why? Because at the time in 1940, is it 1948
yes.
when it started?
Yes.
Okay. When the University of Ghana started.
Yes.
They have a person to a room.
Yes.
That is why you don't expect that we should have a person to a room in 2006.
No, all I'm saying is that
it's another point you're making. That times have changed.
All they are saying is that a lot more people access. And they want to say that in 2005, when the scheme started, the total outlay was a certain amount.
Yes, I think around 7 million.
I don't even know.
That's from the latest statistics.
I am saying that everything in this country has built up along that direction. Look, in 2005, when the scheme started, the total revenue budget of government, okay, was probably maybe 7 or 8 billion from taxes and everything. Today, the total revenue, and so take 2.5% of that. Are you following me? Are you following the argument?
I'm following you.
The NHI budget, let us assume it is 2.5% of that budget. I said the revenue budget was about 7 or 8 million.
Okay.
Today the revenue budget is in excess of 30 million. 2.5% of that is about $1 billion. 2.5% of 8 billion was how much? So if you want us to compare, you are getting maybe 300 or 400 million. Today you are getting 1 billion. So the money that is available to you to take care of a lot more people.
So your argument is it that because there's poor management, or it's because a lot more people are accessing? I'm arguing from the point that perhaps it could be because we have a lot more people accessing.
Look,
so despite all the things you're saying about
the reality of the national health insurance is this: that government collects the money and does not even pay it to them. The law is that 1 month after collecting the money, transfer it is called a transfer it from the consolidated fund to the national health insurance account. I am stating on authority, I am unequivocal that sometimes 5 or 6 months that transfer does not take place.
And you think that's inordinate? It's not appropriate.
It is even breaking the law.
Right. That's where we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be inviting into the discussion the Member of Parliament for Lower Manya, and he is Ebenezer Oklite Delabi. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have his word. Well, so Ebenezer Oklesi-Telabi, Member of Parliament for Lower Manya, he's here. Thanks for joining me. And your colleague was making an argument about, because we're talking about the tour of his flag bearer to the Greater Accra region. He's going to some community. He's been to his community. He'll be even going to Ningo today. And for example, he's saying, I'm offering solutions to Ghana's problems, not promises. Your party launched your manifesto not too long ago. The argument from the opposition, the biggest opposition party, which could be a replacement to your party in government, perhaps if they win from December 7, is that you have not managed the resources of the country adequately, and so not creating the needed access to health, education as you should. Your argument, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, and let me say a good morning to your viewers. In fact, when I entered the studio, I heard my brother making some comments as far as national health insurance is concerned. And I want to.
The argument was about access.
Yeah, access. Yes.
His argument also is that you just don't don't go build the hospitals.
Yeah. No. You see, the hospitals are also very important, because if you don't have the facilities, how do you access health? You understand? But I just want to assure him that national health insurance is working better this time around. As I sit here, I'm a member of parliament. I'm entitled to some refund, but because of NHIS, I have never, for the 4 years, never done for any refund from parliament. You can check. Why? It's not because I don't go to hospital, but every month, if I go for my review, I am giving my drugs free, because I'm a subscriber to NHIS. Just last month I was there.
Which hospital?
Koforidua Central Hospital.
You?
Yes.
You were there?
Yes.
You drove all the way from Accra to Koforidua?
It is the best. Yes. Koforidua Central Hospital. Sometimes if I'm in a constituency, I go to other Agomanya or Atua Government Hospital, and I always get my prescriptions free.
He's not saying, from the argument he's making.
Now, yes, you see, he made some, other arguments that school, when education started, the numbers were small now, and then you drew his attention to some facts which he nicely avoided. I'm sure when he was in the university and they were occupying one, each person had a room to himself, two to a room. Now it is more than that. In addition to that, we were fed 3 times a day, and we were giving some allowance.
Bangla.
Yes.
We were not fed. We were not fed. We were giving Bangla.
Yeah, yes, that's right. No, at the point, yes. Now that is not happening. Why? Because of sheer numbers. Sheer numbers. Today, as I speak to you, national health insurance, 2 2009.
Where are you reading this from?
No,
the Green Book.
Yes, no, this is for National Health Insurance.
No.
This data.
Yes, the document. On which document are you reading this from?
From
your Green Book.
Yes, that's right.
So, but you said you saw the information from the
National Health Insurance. Now, the outpatient utilization of NHIS rose to 29.6 million.
Explain that for us. It means those who access through the
OPD using NHIS daily from 16.6 million in 2009
to
from 16.2 2009 it was 16.6 million outpatient. Today 2014 it rose to 29.6%,
and by now it's increased a lot.
It's increased a lot. You see, sometimes for political reasons we refuse to see, we don't want to accept, but the fact is that the same 2014 he was talking about a certain percentage, and he mentioned about $1 billion of revenue. 2014 claims was 1.073 billion,
just a little above.
Yes. So it goes to, answer him.
And from which?
From 748 million.
In which?
You call this
2009.
2009.
Okay.
Right. Do you call this a collapsing scheme? We haven't realized. You've come to realize that.
But the point of his argument, I know that you want to go on, is that the point of his arguments, or the thrust, is about the management of the resources. Because if the resources, from what I get from his arguments, and I'm also educated, so I'm not ignorant, is if the resources are managed adequately, then we could have proper disbursement, channeling of the resources, and then we talk about management, which he feels, and his side of the political divide feels, is not being done adequately.
Which
is a very good case in point.
Look, if you want to do a proper assessment of NHIS prior to 2009, that's between 2006, 2009, and 2009 and now, there have been, even claims, they have been decentralized. Claims have been decentralized.
What they can't where service providers can't even get access to their monies. We don't understand all the things and the systems. The basic point is that the basic point is that they don't have the assurance and the security and the trust. So they don't want to invest in monies in which the monies get locked up for months and doesn't come. And as a result of that, they don't want to give the drugs or commit the drugs to the patients who have
that is factually inaccurate.
It is very accurate.
You see,
I am a pharmacist.
But the point is that when you go to the hospital, look, for instance, when I went to the hospital,
he has businesses that supply drugs.
Why not? I am not disputing that.
No, I'm not.
He is. I am not. But the fact is that I know. I use the facility. When I go to the hospital, they tell me there are certain, supplements that they write that are not covered by,
Not that. There are some that are covered you can't find.
No.
Let's stick to that point. Where they are covered but you can't find.
Well, that I have not experienced.
Well, they can't supply.
No, that I have not experienced it yet. So I can't speak to it. But what I'm saying is that it's even that, granted that they are covered but they don't have it, doesn't mean that you can have shortage at a point in time. You understand? And even they have the claims must go through a certain process, and therefore sometimes delays are acceptable. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact is that doesn't mean that national health insurance is dying. It is not.
Okay. I've heard an argument also.
That is not true.
That, for example, you build schools in areas where they can't get access to schools because they're far from where they live. And then also, you don't have adequate supply of materials and
like what?
Well, teaching aids, etc.
You see,
these are genuine.
They're mixing the issues. You are just, jumbled. They keep. Because the point is that you must start from somewhere. Look, I went to a school. I was telling friends yesterday that I went to a school where we didn't have electricity. When I started my primary school in the village, there was no electricity. Now there's electricity.
Which school is that?
You understand? It's in Asisewa.
Okay.
Close to Asisewa.
Okay.
You understand? There was no electricity. Today we have electricity there. But must we say that because there's no electricity, we shouldn't build the school?
Now the argument is that we could have done better with the resources we have.
You can always do better. You can always do better. If
you can build a two-bedroom house, and because you don't manage your resources well, you're only able to build only a single room. That's not good enough.
You see what my brothers are doing, it is easy to criticize. You see, destruction, look, putting up this building.
It's not easy to criticize. They've been in government before.
The point is, what have they brought on board? There's nothing to show. They have not put anything on paper for us to hold them to it. Because if you can just go out, criticize.
Mr. Chimantenga, do you think that sometimes government and its communicators and those who represent government sometimes just deflects the issues just because it's you who are raising them?
But this is a clear case of deflection. You see, I think sometimes I really and truly don't understand the argument. Right. The point I was making is that 30 years ago, when I finished university, my graduating class of pharmacists was 30. Today, the graduating class is 160. 2009, 2008, when the scheme was 3 or 4 years, the people that accessed it was building up. Look, the British started their national health insurance in 1948. Up to date, they are always tinkering with it. They are always finding a better way. The numbers are going
up. Last week I was reading, they said they would need to have a lot more funding.
The numbers are going up. They are cutting some service.
But that's his argument. He said we have to start from somewhere.
Listen to me. We started it. So what is it? So we started it. We started it. So don't sit and tell the good people that by virtue of the fact that today 25 or 29 million access it, so that is what it must progress. It must build up. But I am saying that it is not just the figures. What is the quality? I know for a fact that it is now that the National Health Insurance is paying up to December last year. Since January, no service provider has been paid their monies. Where is the money? Don't you pay the 2.5%? Where is it? Where is it?
Is it true?
I state as a matter of record and send your newspaper people to find out. Go to all the facilities. The law says that 1 month. The law says that 1 month after government takes the money, NHIS, they must transfer it. Sometimes 6 months the transfer that the government is breaking the law. So the service providers, when they say it doesn't cover, like you rightly said, there is a list, there is a drug list. I must say that it is one of the most extensive. Indeed, sometimes we even argue that the coverage is too wide. Okay. We have a reasonably good law in place. We cover 60-70% of the things, the diseases that confront the ordinary Ghanaian. But I'm saying that because of mismanagement, because government has mismanaged our funds, sometimes for 6 months, they don't find money to pay the transfer. They have to use the money to pay for interest.
Oh, but why would you say that?
You see,
otherwise, why is it that when you buy water, there is a 2.5 component of national health insurance. If you take transport today, even banking service, there is a 2 when you take money from the ATM.
Or when you buy a house, for example.
When you buy a house, now they have put VAT on it. Mortgage. Young man, you are struggling to pay. Now they have added an extra 17 and a half. I think when you put your ATM card and you draw 200 cedis to check your how far, there is a 17.5%
component
on the charge.
And out of that 7, they are supposed to
and they transfer the people who do it, transfer it to the consolidate to the GRA, and it gets into the consolidate. I am asking, is government go and ask?
So you're saying that's the reason why we're
the last time the National Health Insurance got a transfer, go and ask, go and check. It is only when they get a transfer that they can pay for the service provider. I am saying that what is happening, we have a good law, we have a good institution. This government, because of mismanagement, Incompetence and mismanagement is the national
young government can do it better. Please wrap on the issues whilst I move on to the president and the UN and things that he's made.
Well, it is, as I said, it is easy to criticize. You can just, but the point is that,
but in
very interesting, very interesting. He said something that the monies are used to pay interest. Just to remind him that whatever goes into the consolidated fund is what is.
You know the interest we paid on our credit last year. It's a fact. We're paying dues.
But we have to.
Okay.
We have to pay
because we've borrowed it.
Because we borrowed.
Okay.
And that is why we are seeing the hospitals that are that are being built
and the schools.
That's why you see the polytechnics the polyclinics that are being built. You understand? But you see, if the hospitals are not there and you have the money, right, and you can access help.
So either way, you can't get access.
The point is that we need to build the hospitals for NHIS to function.
Okay.
For it to impact on the people. So if the government is building hospitals and it takes time to collect this money and government goes to borrow to build the hospitals, and I don't know when the revenue comes, he uses some part of it to go and pay for the interest. What is wrong about that?
Well, point
you see, and one thing is that you see the NHIS.
Have you read the front page of the Daily Times?
Yeah, the NHIS.
It says the president is saying the poll will be free and fair. But also on the front page of the Daily Guide, there are videos on social media indicating that the president apparently on some of his campaign tours had been sharing money. Those are allegations. There are videos and there are pictures also indicating
that was sharing money.
Well, not on mass basis, but at least he's explaining his
people. He stopped the car and called. I've seen it.
Okay.
Unless they are telling us it is Photoshop.
No, it's not Photoshop.
Well, you see, when politicians
have you come across some of those?
I have not seen it yet, but you see, the point is that on our rounds, as politicians, if we want to be honest with ourselves, sometimes you meet people.
Be careful about the comments you're about to make.
No, why? You meet the person.
I'm only questioning you.
No question about it. You see, the point is that we should not be criticizing that even if it happened. I am not saying that it is true. Granted that it happened.
Well, the president didn't gather 100,000 people.
No.
Fine.
But it's as a human being. Supposing you go out there, you meet a destitute. Or you think that, this person, let me give the person some money for water or something.
Well, the opposition says that's sharing cash.
Oh, come on.
For votes.
They should give us a break. If they don't, look, what I'm saying is that Nana Akufo-Addo and his team should give us, their manifesto. They will also,
so not this issue that we are
not this issue.
Do you think the president should be seen doing this?
What is wrong about that? So he's a human being. The father is the president,
well, he's the president. He could have let any of his aide do that on the back. He doesn't have to do.
What is wrong about
for communication purposes, for me, if I was consulting for him, this is my right to make.
A president of this country has ever called me and given me money before.
No. You are not speaking right. I'm telling you, it's not good for the political image. No, I'm saying that what do you make of
what I'm saying is that what is happening? I mean, I have not seen it.
I'm saying that it's not a scenario. Sincerely, it's not a scenario where the president on his campaign tour collects or puts together 100,000 people and is sharing cash for them. That's not the scenario.
That's right.
But this is a snippet of an incident which was captured, and we know social media and things are going viral these days. It may have been that maybe he saw something happened, and I've asked some people on the campaign trail. So when something happened, when the
president goes to church,
somebody's words fell off, and so he decided to
when the president goes
dole out something for the person.
When the president goes to church,
and goes to offering. It's not the same.
It's not the same. You think so?
No, they're two different. There are two different scenarios.
What's the essence of going
essentially when you go to church as part of the itinerary or program, you're supposed to give a collection. That's good. As part of the itinerary of a campaign, it's not to go and share money.
That's not giving.
That's giving.
And that's also not giving.
But that's a different type of
giving. What type of giving is that?
All right, thank you.
You see, first and foremost, let me place a caveat. I hope that this is not quote unquote photoshopped. I wish that it was photoshopped. I would have. I pray.
Well, I've watched the videos. I don't know.
I pray that it is photoshopped.
You have the video.
It's on social media.
I pray it is photoshopped.
No, you have a smartphone.
Because it brings our politics and the dignity of the presidency to here.
Oh, but how?
Let me say. Let me say. But I will not sit here and pretend You see, like he said, he says they should tell one politician who doesn't give out money sometimes. Okay.
I mean, you give him money out.
Oh, I will be.
Maybe you're going around. You saw somebody who is destitute, who has difficulties, and you decide to help the person. Is it bad?
Let me tell you.
Even when you're not campaigning, you do that.
Even when I'm not campaigning, I do that.
Yes.
But that is why His Excellency is different from all of us.
He is different from you.
He is the first gentleman of the land. He is the fountain of honor. When I saw it, I thought that there was something wrong. But you see, if the NDC and Oklite, people like him think that it is okay, so be it. That His Excellency will stop a car and take money from somebody and begin to give it out.
No, he didn't. No, let's get it right. He didn't give the money out, but explicitly.
He called somebody and
no, he called somebody.
I don't.
Well,
that is what I said.
I asked a question. I asked somebody on the campaign trail, and they said that I think when the convoy was going, somebody's words, I think, fell off, and I think he noticed it. So I heard that he tried to.
Doesn't he have detail?
That's what I'm asking.
Doesn't he have detail?
But it was in the heat of the campaign trail.
Doesn't he have detail? I say that there are. The good book of the Christians is all things are lawful. It is not everything that is expedient.
Mr. Chairman, aren't we being hypocritical about this?
Oh, the good people who are sitting and watching must make up their minds.
Do you agree that the president was not sharing money on his campaign trail?
What was he doing?
No.
Did he give
I'm asking you two different questions.
I said, did the president, His Excellency the President, was it apples he gave out?
Well,
was it apples he gave out?
No.
Oh yeah, come on.
All right.
Now the president,
the president is at the UN. You wanted to make a comment?
Yeah, Roland. You see, we are reducing politics to pettiness in this country.
Oh,
because even the fact that this thing was given a front page cover, this is petty.
It's on the front page of the Daily Gun.
Yeah, it's petty.
But you don't think it's a big issue?
It is not.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Not at all.
Right.
And even for us to, dwell on it so much, I think it's a waste of time because there's so much. That's what I'm saying. And my brothers, the MPP, should come out with their manifesto. So
Did you listen to the president at the UN? Did you listen to the president at the UN?
Somebody, I mean,
yesterday I had
and
a
I
program.
think he slipped. It became the banner headline.
No, you heard.
It became banner headlines. You talk about pettiness.
You heard NDC communicators talk about it.
I say it became banner headlines for
you.
Yes.
You heard them.
Yes.
Issues discussed. Oh well.
Mr. Clinton,
you talk about pettiness.
Did you listen to the president at the
yesterday?
Read your lips.
Yesterday, unfortunately, at the time the president was delivering the speech,
you also
I was very, very busy. Trying to support some needy. But
activities.
Very important in my constituency.
Okay. Well, the president delivered a speech in which he talked about overall assuring the international community about how the polls will be free and fair in Ghana. How also we need to create a global market in which Africa and its economies could partake equitably.
That's right.
And had a link to that, link that to the current migration crisis that Europe is facing from Africa, and thought if we were good partakers of the global market, then we could also self-develop our countries, and so our citizens could also have a lot more reliability on the economies on the continent. Now, free and fair polls and all.
In fact, if you look at our electoral system in Ghana, I've always said that, look, we have one of the best. We have one of the best.
Well,
I mean,
the petition in 2013 doesn't tell us.
Well, you see, it doesn't mean that if you have the best.
In 2004, they went to court too.
If you have the best, it doesn't mean that you can make a mistake. Because if you look at the flaws, there were human errors. People who could not, somebody who cannot write figures in words. You understand? The person, there are mistakes, you understand? And we learn as we move on. But the fact is that we have a system that guarantees, one, when it starts from even, collation of names or collation of the register, we have representatives from day one. Now, through exhibition and everything, at the end of the day, on the election day itself, results are declared at the polling stations before they even move, to the district for collation. You understand? And everybody is involved. And therefore, I believe that anybody who has followed keenly our electoral system, right, will know that we would agree to a large extent
that we have one of the
best. That we have one of the best.
My time is up. But
His Excellency the President was in. I watched part of the video. I didn't listen to it, but I think it's all trending.
Yes,
and he spoke extensively about fair trade. Yeah. See, for me, all of us we have been speaking about this in the last how many years?
20 years.
But the flip side of it, I think the time has come for African politicians to also be responsible. You speak about unfair trade. That is why all the boys are migrating. That is why somebody will sell his store and decide. But they forget that they that are responsible for managing the economy locally. Somebody who goes to import something, goes to Nigeria to buy something to sell on the Techiman market. 2 years ago, he had a capital of 50,000 cedis. The 50,000 cedis then was equivalent to $25,000 when the cedi was 1 to 2. Today, because you mismanage the economy, that 50,000 cedis is about 10,000. How long?
So you're saying that?
So I am saying yes.
It rests with the African politics.
Let us create a just and equitable system out there. But as we create the just and equitable system, the politician, the man who is responsible, must also learn to be disciplined.
Okay,
they must not steal. They must not rob.
I wanted to give you extra 10 minutes, but I can't. But that'll be it for the morning. Ebenezer Oklete Taylor, Member of Parliament for Lower Manya, and also Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wagon is Emmanuel Chimanting Ejako. You know the Kufuor story in the Greater Quarry. He'll be in Ningo today.
I see. That's where his wife comes from.
You know he'll be there.
Homecoming, yeah.
All right. We're taking a break. When we come back, Becky will be here with entertainment. Just stay on.